rock star greeting usually reserved for, well, rock stars.
Warm welcome. We are very proud of you.
They came by chartered plane, by bus, and car convoys, all converging in Sydney for tonight's 20,000-strong rally for India's PM, Narendra Modi.
We came here by 5 o'clock. We just cooking.
It will be an atmosphere like a festival like no one else has seen.
We're excited and thrilled to see Modi coming, especially showing him how much love we have for him.
So what makes the people mad for Modi? Supporters credit his progressive policies with pulling millions out of poverty. He's also elevated India from developing nation to potential superpower, on track to become the world's third largest economy.
Modi carries that charisma. The work he's done in India has bring so much hope and development in all around that we just can't stop having that excitement to welcome him to this country.
But while wildly popular, Modi is polarising too, slammed for discriminating against Muslims and other minorities, promoting a Hindu nationalist view critics say is dangerous.
We are seeing discrimination of minorities, normalising violence. The government is increasingly being allowed to get away with doing whatever it pleases.
There are calls to raise the discrimination faced by Muslims and other minorities in India. Will Australia raise it?
Well, I'm not about to go now into all that will be spoken about when our Prime Minister meets Prime Minister Modi tomorrow.
There are more than 1 million Indians that call Australia home, and with strong trade and defence ties between our two countries, the relationship is tight.
As the two honourable Prime Ministers do the lap of honour.
Now our relations are flying. In the next 5 years, India and Australia is targeting $100 billion of trade between among them, so which is very good for the diaspora.
That community kicking off a major party for the PM, set to continue into the wee hours. Pawan Luthra is an Indian-Australian publisher in Sydney for the party, and we spoke to him earlier.
Pawan, 20,000 people turning up for a politician. Where on the scale of political rally to party does this sit?
Look, it's a combination of a political rally and a party. I've been here for the last 3 hours and there have been drums, there's been excitement, there's been chanting going on. It's almost like a cricket match happening in India against Australia with more than 70,000, 80,000 people at a cricket stadium all chanting the virtues of the Indian cricket team, except this time we substituted for the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Pawan, I reckon there's zero chance Aussies who lived overseas would turn out for Albo if he came to visit them. Why is Modi so magnetic?
Well, Modi is a great orator. One fact about Modi is he doesn't do one-on-one press conferences, he does not do any doorstops, but put him in front of 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 people, he's got a story to tell. And to an extent, Modi is somebody who's come through when India has been emerging. He's had the tailwinds of an emerging economy, and over the last 10 years he's been in power. India's economic strength has gone from one power to another power. There are about 400 million young people between the ages of 18 and 25 who are bursting to get out and do things. There are 800 million internet users. And because of this, Modi can stimulate the excitement in the non-resident Indians, the diaspora which is sitting inside, and he'll be telling them a lot of stories tonight as to how wonderful and powerful India is.
It's fair to say that Modi is also a highly controversial figure. For example, signs calling him a terrorist were removed from Sydney streets this week. So how problematic is his treatment of minorities?
Look, I'm not a fan of Modi, but I'm not an enemy of Modi also. Not that that'll bother him or anybody else. And I think some of his treatment of the minorities and issues on Hindu nationalism is something which I sit very uncomfortably with. But there is no other leader who can take over his position. That's a discussion for another time. Look, we have challenges with the Indigenous community in Australia. So there are Indigenous problems almost everywhere. And India also has problems with its minorities.
Yeah, I take that point, Pawan, but it's a slightly different thing, isn't it? I mean, for example, Genocide Watch, an international organisation, they've looked at India and they've put it on, quote, genocide alert. Is it possible that the reception that we're seeing now and all the fanfare is going to look pretty terrible in 10 or 20 years' time?
Well, there would be challenges in the future, but let's put things in perspective. If we look at India, The population is more than 1.4 billion people, and there are more than 172 million Muslims. And I think the majority of them live very peacefully and well with each other. So in terms of putting India on a genocide watch, I think that's a little bit rich.
Well, Pawan, it looks like you've got a party to get to. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for inviting me.